It is a gorgeous afternoon for a ball game in Detroit, Michigan. And today at Comerica Park, it is game 4 of this 4-game two-city series between the Pirates and the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everybody. With Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smokowski will join us shortly. More interleague play coming your way, and maybe Travis Snyder will be getting it done again, because during this series with the Tigers, Bob, he has been getting it done. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs.
He certainly has, and when it comes to picking up the slack with the McCutchen injury, the guy that's really picked up most of it, it's got to be Travis Snyder. He's been hitting for average, playing some great defense, but that's not all. He's been showing middle of the lineup type power, and that's really the big way to pick up that slack from McCutchen. Get the ball over the fence and get some RBIs, and he is certainly doing that right now. And as always, he's one of the most popular guys down that dugout.
And he loves going through that receiving line. Maybe he'll do it again today. On the bump is left-hander Francisco Liriano. The Pirates starter in each start since the All-Star break has lowered his ERA.
Well, since the All-Star break, really, he's just been kind of healthy out there. That's the main thing. And he's been able to pick up his velocity, and along with that velocity, the sharpness in that slider is back. Always been a great pitch for him. That's his strikeout pitch. When it's breaking hard, he's pitching well, and right now he's pitching just as well as he was last year.
Liriano had a tough luck loss his last time out despite pitching effectively against the Padres. He will face the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League, Max Scherzer.
Yeah, you're having really a battle here of 2 real good pitchers. This should be a lot of fun to watch this afternoon.
Liriano and Scherzer, the pitching matchup. Pull up a chair to the table. We've been dealt a pair of aces here today as the Tigers and Pirates go at it in game 4. The Buccos with a chance for a series win. They've taken 2 of 3 so far. Liriano and Scherzer lineups, and first pitch coming up from Detroit.
It's trying to take the 4-game series win, trying to win 3 out of 4 against the reigning Cy Young winner Max Scherzer. I'm Robbie, it's Mikowski. And 2 nights ago at home, it was Josh Harrison with his 4th plate appearance of the night, officially qualified for the race for the National League's batting title. And here's the thing, he has a real good chance at winning it. Troy Tulowitzki leads the way. He's batting .340, many points ahead of Josh Harrison and Justin Morneau, who's second. But get this, Tulowitzki will not qualify because he will have season-ending hip surgery. So Tulowitzki is going to drop out. That leaves Harrison essentially in second place right now. And I asked Josh Harrison about this, and he told me he knew he was getting close at least because he's been playing every day for the last couple months, but it's not something that he thinks about. We have a little over 6 weeks left in the season, so to be thinking about something like the batting title, he told me, was a little bit premature. But if it happens, that's fantastic. He's not checking the stats every day, but sometimes he said he sees it during BP at certain stadiums when they have it on the scoreboard. And Tim and Bob, I got to tell you something. Even though he's not paying attention, I guarantee you, we are every step, every day.
Well, you're right, Robbie, and every reason now to continue to pay attention, not just for Josh Harrison, but Andrew McCutchen, who's right on his heels now. Max Scherzer taking the field for the Detroit Tigers, making his 12th home start this season. He is 8-1 here at Comerica Park. Pirates lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Polanco back in the leadoff spot. Then Travis Snyder hitting second, 6 for 12, 3 home runs, 7 runs batted in his last 3 games against Detroit. Then Harrison in the 3-hole. Ike Davis cleanup. Marte 5th. Alvarez, the designated hitter. Jordy Mercer hitting 7th. Chris Stewart doing the catching today, day game after a night game. And Michael Martinez, the switch hitting infielder, will play second base and bat 9th against the strong-armed right-hander Max Scherzer.
You look at that ERA at 3.13. Something like 20% of his earned runs this year have come in just 2 ball games, and if you could throw those out, he'd probably be in the ones. I mean, he is really having another dominant season. This will not be easy this afternoon.
His last 2 starts, he is 0-1, had a no decision against the Blue Jays and a loss against the Yankees before that. But he went at least 7 innings and didn't give up any more than 2 runs. For the Tigers, defensively behind Scherzer this afternoon in left field, it is J.D. Martinez. Rajai Davis back at center. Torrey Hunter in right. Castellanos and Suarez. Kinsler and Cabrera on the infield with Alex Avila doing the catching again today, making up the Tigers' battery. Avila has caught every game in this series, and he will catch the day game today. Back-to-back games with home runs for Alex Avila. Francisco Liriano looking for another good start. He's 3-8. Had a rough start to the season, but things have really turned around for him midway through, and he hopes to have a strong finish. So the left-hander preps.
He's going to have to be good this afternoon. Hopefully it'll be one of those real nice, well-pitched ball games that we come out on top of, something along the lines of 2-1, 3-2.
Gregory Polanco leading off. Scherzer's first pitch is high and outside for ball 1. We're underway. 1 ball and no strikes to Gregory Polanco. Scherzer will throw a lot of pitches typically. Get deep into counts.
Only twice this year has he not thrown at least 100. He gets a workout.
109 pitches per start for Scherzer. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Polanco. Scherzer gets the sign from Avila. And Polanco swings and strikes out, and there's 1 gone.
They did a pretty good job that time. Scherzer did of everything away, and then 1 pitch, the strike 3 pitch, he decides to move it inside.
Scherzer has a lot of weapons to work with. Throw strikes with a number of his pitches, so he got the first out of the ball game. Struck out 11 in his start on Saturday at Toronto. It was the 5th time he had 10 or more strikeouts this season in a game.
Well, Travis has been hot. See how his first at bat goes. Maybe get a little bit of a read on this afternoon.
1-0 to Snyder. Swing and a miss.
No pigeons today, huh?
No, the pigeons were a bit of a problem in last night's game in the early part of it. They were captured and, well, don't know what happened to them after that, but
well, they
left the field.
They let them go over here.
And a strike call to Snyder, 1-2. Big strike zone today for Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire.
Scherzer doesn't need help.
No, he's getting help, and he strikes out Snyder. 2 strikeouts to start the game. And
that pitch right, this almost exact same spot as that one that he got the call on. So when you get a called strikeout there, that forces you now to have to swing at it, and that's a tough pitch to hit, even tough pitch to even get a piece of.
Well, when the plate is about 24 inches wide for you, you're going to have an advantage. Paul Schreiber, big strike zone today. We've already seen it. Adam Hamilton at first, Alfonso Marquez at second. The crew chief, Ted Barrett, is in back at third. And Harrison fouls off the first pitch. Josh hitting in the 3 spot again today. Hasn't done it very often. The last time he did it was Sunday against the Padres and went 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch. No balls and 1 strike to Harrison. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bright sunshiny day here in Detroit. Clouds in the sky with no threat of any kind of inclement weather. They certainly have had their share of that in recent days here. Perhaps more than their share. 1-2. And Scherzer a strike away from retiring the side in order. 1-2 pitch. Now it's 2-2.
He wasn't very happy with that one, was he?
No. I mean, happy he didn't get a strike call?
No, happy with the way he threw that ball. That was a reaction you see sometimes when you give up a double or a home run. Watch Scherzer. He snapped, hooked, and went outside, but he was really upset with himself.
Josh fouls this one off. Two balls and 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pitch to Josh. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Scherzer strikes out the side to start the ball game. the first inning. Now the Tigers come to the plate in the bottom of the first to face Francisco Liriano. And the Honda lineup written up by Brad Ausmus today. Rajai Davis will lead off. Ian Kinsler second. Miguel Cabrera third. Victor Martinez this month has been on fire. 353 average. That's a big average. 2 home runs. He had 3 RBIs last night. Torrey Hunter bats next. J.D. Martinez in left field. Nick Castellanos back at third base. Alex Avila catching and hitting 8th. Eugenio Suarez bats 9th. Shortstop to face Frankie.
Hey, take a look at Frankie's numbers on the year. You know, they really don't reflect how well he has been pitching of late. But he is really going to have to be at the top of his game, I think, this afternoon. This is a very talented lineup. A lot of experienced hitters. And to get those guys to chase at a lot of bad pitches might not be, all that easy. Usually the older veteran players, they'll take more. They won't leave the strike zone very often.
Rajai Davis hitting .291. Takes a pitch. And his ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Davis. Davis with 6 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Pitch on the way from Frankie. Swing and a miss. You got to chase. You talked about it, Bob. That's going to have to be a big deal today for Liriano, is getting these experienced hitters to chase his off-speed stuff. 1-2 delivery. Strike 3. And Davis is out.
Didn't throw a single pitch in the strike zone the entire at bat, and gets a strikeout. So their stuff is there. And that was more of a bigger, slower breaking pitch also. Right? Didn't throw that as hard as a lot of his sliders, but it wasn't a real quick short one. You could see how far that ball broke, almost like a curveball. That would be kind of a pitch a lot of guys will call a slurve.
Ian Kinsler now awaits the pitch from Liriano. Puts you inside. Frankie against Detroit had pitched a lot against them because he was in the division with Minnesota for so long. This is his 25th appearance against Detroit. His 18th start. He's 5-8 with an ERA just under 6 in his career against the Tigers. This was a regular stop for Liriano for a number of seasons. 2-1 to Kinsler. Kinsler, we understand, led a meeting among the team in Pittsburgh after the Pirates had won the first 2 games. The Tiger players were asked about it, and they're all saying, well, it stays in the clubhouse. But yeah, he did say some things that needed to be said in what apparently was a players only meeting.
Well, I'm sure a lot of it was about their defense they played in those 2 games. And they really looked sloppy out there. There was poor play in the outfield, infield, some pickoffs that weren't accomplished correctly. All sorts of stuff was going wrong for them on defense, and I'll bet you Kinsler talked a lot about that. If I had to take a guess.
Payoff pitch is pulled foul and out of play. A long way out of play. Count stays full at 3-2.
If I can remember one play in particular where I think it was Jay stole third, and Kinsler kind of threw his arms up at second base like, what are we doing?
Here's a comebacker. Liriano bobbles it. Throws to first. Not in time. So the first base runner is as a result of a misplay by Liriano.
It's very difficult for pitchers to get errors fielding, but he might get one there. As that was a slowly hit ball that he should have definitely caught. 9 times out of 10, the only way you can get an error if you were a pitcher is to throw something away.
No scoring decision yet. Now we have. It is an error on Liriano. 1 out and 1 on. Liriano goes to first. Kinsler gets back.
hit almost the middle of the glove, just didn't stick. But Kinsler, a lot of times you'll see guys that they'll hit a little slow ball back to the pitcher and they'll dog it a little bit down the line. Not Kinsler, he was moving. So just that little bit of a bobble. The ball bounced, what, maybe 3-4 feet away, and he was able to beat it out.
Strike to Cabrera. Rivers Casino tips to win.
I got to stay in the draft, and basically that's all about. I didn't think that they were real impressive. Their bullpen last couple innings last night. I think if we stay close, we could pass them at the end. The high-speed chase that goes along with Liriano's slider. If he's throwing it hard, getting that hard break, I think he's going to be able to get some chases. And we've talked earlier about Snyder. Hopefully he'll keep his motor running, because he's been a little powerhouse of late. Not just the getting the base hits, but hitting the ball over the fence and knocking in runs.
Liriano with a 1-1 count on Miguel Cabrera. Back-to-back American League MVP. Runner goes. Throw down by Stewart. Not in time. Kinsler steals second base, his 12th stolen base. And the Tigers with a man in scoring position and one out.
Just a good jump. That was a nice throw by Stewart. Looked like it was pretty much on the bag, but it was well late. That breaking ball down and in, that's a tough one to throw anybody out on. That's the pitch that everybody wants to run on. That's why you see the runners, they'll get out there a little bit and they'll try to peek in at the catcher to see if they can see a 2 or a 3. They want to run on a breaking ball.
Cabrera bounces to the left side. Mercer deep in the hole will throw him out. Liriano has to cover third base. Kinsler not advancing. And there are now 2 out for Detroit.
A nice play by Mercer. That was a long throw he had to make. He's playing over in the hole anyway, and he is at the back foot on the grass as he was picking that ball up.
Well, Cabrera really didn't run very well out of the box, so that gave Mercer lots of time to make that throw.
A little different approach than Kinsler took on his little dribbler back to the mound.
About 180 degrees. Kinsler at second base, 2 down, and Victor Martinez, the designated hitter, up. A good night last night. Martinez with 3 hits, 3 runs batted in. Had a 2-run single in the 7th that put the icing on the cake for the Tigers. He takes a strike from Frankie. Martinez played first base in Pittsburgh when the Tigers did not use the DH. This is the last time in the regular season the Pirates will have to play in a game with the designated hitter. One ball, 1 strike. One more interleague series to go, but it's in Pittsburgh. It's in mid-September against the Red Sox. Liriano's 1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Victor Martinez. 2-1. Liriano over his last 5 starts has given up just 6 earned runs and 18 hits, covering 32 innings of work. Things have really been on the upswing for Liriano since the beginning of the season when he got off to such a rough start. Now it's 3-1. Victor Martinez, first time as a Tiger, elected to the All-Star squad. He is a 5-time All-Star. Liriano's 3-1. In for a strike, and the count is full. .305 career hitter, 180 career home runs. He's working on 900 RBIs.
This is really kind of the poster boy for the type of hitter I was talking about earlier. That you can get him to chase, but it's not easy. Guys have been around the block for so long.
This is a team you have to outslug. Granted, they're behind Kansas City. They lost a 7.5 game division lead. 5 of those on the most recent road trip, where the Tigers went 2-7. But still a very well equipped team offensively. Kansas City winning 8 in a row while the Tigers were slumping. Had that happen. Payoff pitch in the dirt, and Martinez has walked. Francisco Liriano now will face the right fielder Torrey Hunter with 2 down and 2 on. Today's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat, the RBI leaders in interleague place is 2007. Right on top of that list, Torrey Hunter, just 3 ahead of his teammate Miguel Cabrera. Alex Rodriguez, Albert Pujols, Adrian Gonzalez round out the top 5. Kinsler to the runner at second base. Victor Martinez is at first. And Hunter waiting for the pitch. Strike 1. You see that pad, Bob? I don't know if we saw him hit with that the other day or not, but
we talked about it on the radio last night.
We did?
Remember that?
No, that was too long ago.
Oh. Yeah, he's got a big thick pad on his backhand. That's what I think a lot of guys should be wearing nowadays. Bagwell was the first guy I saw put that on there. So easy to have one of those little bones broken in the back of your hand on something inside that it just makes so much sense to have one. Marte should definitely have one as often as he gets hit.
Yeah, he's been hit there and it's caused a problem. 1-1. Hunter, ground ball, slowly hit toward the mound. Liriano trouble. This time he throws him out. Nothing across for the Tigers. No hits and an error. And 2 men left. We'll go to the second in Detroit.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
No score, top of the second inning at Comerica Park. Tigers had a couple of men on, but They were stranded. And now Max Scherzer will face his fourth hitter of the ball game, Mike Davis. Scherzer struck out Polanco, Snyder, and Harrison to start the game. Pitch to Davis is in for a strike. Justin Verlander bobblehead day today.
Doesn't matter what kind of season he's having or not having it. It's incredibly popular here in Detroit. Pour in here today to get the bobblehead.
So you have one.
Just got placed on the desk here.
Mysteriously,
Yeah.
it just ended up on the desk. Yeah, there it is. It's mint condition, not even out of the box yet. Did he really sign that?
I don't know. It's not mine. I couldn't tell you.
There you go, Jim. 1-2 to Ike. .239 for Davis. 8 homers, 38 runs batted in. Davis had a hit last night and 2 trips. He was walked twice. Fouls this one back. Count stays where it was, 1-2. Davis from Edina, Minnesota, Minneapolis area. There is Justin Verlander, who had to leave the first game of the series after just 1 inning. Strike 3 call. Davis is out on strikes. And right now, Max Scherzer in the early part of this game is unhittable.
Yeah, like I said, he doesn't finish hitting games. He is not a finisher, so just stay in the draft. Don't lose patience.
Remember the first time the Pirates saw Max Scherzer, he was a member of the Diamondbacks. That was the first time we had seen him pitch. He surprised everybody. Tigers liked him enough to go trade for him. Oh, Marte to the gap in left center field. He surprised Scherzer that time, ambushed him, bounces around the wall, and stopping at second base with a double is Starling Marte.
I think Marte decided, I'm not going to get deep into a count. I'm not going to even get to strike 2. I'm going to go up, hunt fastball, and whack it. Right on the inside corner, he flew open and drove it into the gap. Anything into a gap with Marte is not just necessarily a double either. He's always thinking 3.
Double number 20 for Marte. The Pirates have a man in scoring position for Pedro Alvarez. Pedro had a hit last night, ending an 0 for 10 skid. Ended up going 1 for 4. He struck out 3 times. Then Hurdle telling me yesterday that he expects to see Pedro playing first base during the Washington series this weekend. I want to find out what they've got with him over there. So his debut as a first baseman is coming perhaps in the next day or so. He has been working hard, still working hard at both corner infield positions. A lot at third base, but a lot lately at first. Cabrera plays both corners. He played third against the Pirates in the 2 games in Pittsburgh, and regularly the first baseman.
He came up as he's a natural third baseman. I mean, that was his position. A lot of big sluggers make that move, getting over to first base for the second half of their career. I think Cabrera's days of playing third are most likely numbered.
Well, the way he hits, they're going to find a place for him.
Hey, he won't need it
right there.
He won't need that third base glove many more years, I don't think. He'll be able to get rid of that.
Two ball, 1 strike pitch. We'll wait. Scherzer looks back at Ready for the 2-1 is Alvarez. Got on a miss, and it's 2-2.
That's what messed him up that very first at bat last night. The slow stuff. He was way out in front of him. Same on that swing. That was located well down and away, but still it was the lack of speed that messed up Pedro more than anything else.
Down on strikes goes Alvarez.
Same pitch.
5 strikeouts for Scherzer. He struck out 5 of the 6 men he's faced in the game.
Good arm action, good location. Pedro just could not stay back and wait long enough.
Pedro is going to see a steady diet of those changeups, no matter who he's playing against. Pitch to Mercer. Jordy cuts and misses. First hit of the day belongs to the Pirates and Starling Marte. He's at second base. Mercer trying to get him in with 2 down. A 1 pitch coming to Mercer. .93-mile-an-hour fastball. Nothing in 2.
I think the Pirate hitters are just, they keep getting caught in between. They're just a little behind or a little out front.
Just outside off the plate, couldn't get a chase. Ball 2 strikes to Mercer. Jordy playing in his 48th consecutive game. Clint Barmas is out on a rehab stint. He'll go to Altoona and then Indy, and when he comes back, Jordy probably will get a break, at least for a game. He's been in there every day since Barmas has been out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Avila with the block.
Well, Scherzer just hates it when he misses by that much. Another reaction from him for bouncing that breaking ball so far outside. I know what he's thinking. I know that feeling. What are you doing? That's what you're telling yourself.
Sure, gets a piece of that one and fouls it off. You mean to tell me you threw more than 1 curveball in the dirt?
I bounced a few. I had a name for that pitch.
Can you repeat it?
No, not here.
I didn't think so. Two to Jordy. Missed inside.
Try to put a little extra on it. Well, that one at 95. I think that might be his best heater velocity wise of the day. He thought he had him set up for it. Just missed his spot. Didn't want it that far inside.
Full count to Mercer. He wants time. Scherzer stays in the position, bent over at the waist, waiting for Mercer to get back in the box. Payoff pitch to Mercer. There goes Marte, and Mercer fouls it off. Marte would have had third easily with the third baseman Castellanos playing back with 2 down. Just Stewart on deck. Stewart doing the catching today.
He's gone after him with a couple of 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. Let's see what they decide to do. Decision's hard to come by here.
And the payoff coming to Jordy. That is a foul ball.
Making him work out there. Of course, Scherzer, I think, wants to have at bats like this. This is his MO.
So the count's still full to Mercer.
His ninth pitch.
Ninth pitch of the at bat.
After an 0-2 count.
Yeah.
That's why he averages 109, I guess.
That's good math. Marte off second. And again, the 3-2 to Jordy Mercer. Struck him out. Max Scherzer has struck out 6 Pirates through the first 2 innings. Second inning, Francisco Liriano trying to match zeros with Max Scherzer. Here's our day automotive. This day in Pirates history, in 1960, the Pirates swept a twin bill against the second place Cardinals, giving the Pirates a 6-game lead in the standings. In Game 1, the Pirates' Bill White hit for the cycle, while the Bucks' Dick Groat drove in 2, and Rocky Nelson had 3 runs batted in, while the Deacon Vern Law went the distance for his 17th win of the year. Game 2 went into extra innings, tied at 2 until the 11th, when Don Hope drove in Bob Skinner with the game winner. This day in 1960. That was a day with a lot of baseball.
Good year for the Pirates.
World Championship year. There's J.D. Martinez. Swing and a miss there. Let's check in with Robbie. What's happening in the Buccos dugout?
Well, last night it was the Pigeons down in the field. Today it appears to be the Bees inside the dugout. Every member of the Pirates dugout, with the exception of Russell Martin and Jeff Bannister, all the way at the end, are up against a fence right now as we got employees from Comerica Park down there trying to spray all the bees and get them out of here. So they're forced to face all the way up there. There's even a guy, I don't know if you get a shot right there, I think you see him, under the bench, literally under the benches, trying to find the bees and track them all down. So we'll keep you updated. Hopefully they get rid of them pretty quick.
At least the bees are wearing the right colors today. Look at that. Shoots and scores. So
always something in it.
A bee infestation in the Bucs dugout. Martinez swings, and he is down on strikes. Another strikeout for Liriano. That's his second. One out for the Tigers in the bottom of the second inning.
That one just clipping the bottom of the strike zone, but so far I'm liking the fact that there are been some of these hitters chasing. You like that? And that's the big part really of Liriano's game. He has to have those guys leaving the strike zone, chasing after a lot of his pitches. A couple times we've seen this year early on when Liriano really wasn't 100% healthy, teams would be very patient with him, go up there, do a lot of taking, not chase, and Liriano had some problems with the control then. Walk numbers got up there, but as long as they're swinging at pitches like that, he's going to do just fine.
Russell Martin has a fly swatter disguised as a glove on his hand.
Yeah, he's keeping an eye on the bees over his shoulder. See that?
Castellanos to right field, right at Polanco. 2 down.
And right now the guys can't wait to play defense. Get away from the bees.
That's right. Polanco, his first put out this afternoon. 2 men gone. And Alex Avila coming up. Walker today had a full workout. Says he feels pretty good and getting closer to returning. Not sure exactly when that time will be, but he says he feels much better. One of the things the Pirates are having him do in his return to play program is they want him to run the bases, check on his acceleration and how he can turn and cut and run on the bases. That's probably the last step. If he's okay there, then he would be back sooner than later. But he's been in the cage swinging, and that hasn't seemed to be a problem in the last few days. 1-1 to Avila.
He's been taking batting practice almost since he got hurt. He was hitting well enough in batting practice that they sent him up as a pinch hitter.
Strike 2. Clint saying today that they're past the stage of him going on the disabled list, so going through his normal routine today, and his return to recovery program is going as expected, if not better. 1-2 to the Tigers catcher, and Avila strikes out. So Frankie with a 1-2-3 inning, striking out 2. 3 strikeouts in the game for Liriano. Still scoreless in Detroit.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Detroit, Michigan. As we look at it on this clear Thursday afternoon, it's a welcome sight for the locals as they have dealt with some serious flooding here this week. Recovering from that. Torrential rains, record-setting rains here. And enjoying the beautiful sunshine, very pleasant temperature, 67 degrees at game time today. You almost get the sense, a day like today, Bob, that fall is in the air.
That's nice. Beautiful temperature. A little bit of a breeze kind of blowing out. Keeping it nice and cool.
1-0 pitch to Chris Stewart. Count is even 1-1.
Well, September's coming.
Can't stop it. Halfway through August now.
Summer is definitely slipping away.
2 balls and a strike. Still time to see your Bucks at PNC Park. You got lots of games coming up, including a big series with the Atlanta Braves when we return after the weekend. I'll make sure you come out for that. Check swing foul ball. And at the end of this month, 2 big divisional series. Cardinals for 3 games. The Reds for 3 games. And then more divisional series in September. Cubs and Brewers. The Brewers are the final home series. 19th, 20th, 21st. It's after a 3-game interleague series with Boston. But who knows, Bob? The division could come down to that 3-game series. Stewart lines one to right center field. That's down. Torrey Hunter cuts it off. And it's a leadoff single for Stewart. Talking about the next homestand. It's Youth Baseball Appreciation Night. Teams receive a $10 discount on select seats. For tickets, visit pirates.com/youthbaseball. Make sure to wear your game jerseys if you're part of a team. Again, that's pirates.com/youthbaseball. Tuesday against the Braves, 7:05. Michael Martinez pops up the bunt. It goes back toward the backstop. 0-1. Martinez, the 9 hitter, switch hitter, batting left against Scherzer.
And nobody out. Makes sense. Sacrifice. Move Stewart to second base for the top of the lineup, even though there is not a traditional 9 hitter out there. Martinez is in that spot right now, so needs to get the bunt down.
Good eye there. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball and 1 strike to Martinez. Stewart off of first base. Stretched by Scherzer. Throw to first. Lob to first, really. That was more of an introductory lob. Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic is home for Martinez. There's the bat back again and takes ball 2, 2-1.
I like the fact that he really got it out there early this time. Everybody knows he's trying to sacrifice. There's no reason to keep it a secret. Get turned around, get the bat out there in the front. Get the runner over.
There goes Stewart.
Hit and run.
Hit and run was put on.
Stewart looking over his shoulder. That's pretty textbook. You take the first couple of strides, you're trying to get as good a jump as you can, but then you have to immediately look and see what happens at home plate, because you know it's a hit and run, and the hitter hopefully is going to put the ball in play for you.
Michael with a foul back. Now stays 2-2. Hill trying to get something going. Bottom part of the order. Josh Harrison. Still a ways to go to get to him. Polanco on deck. With Snyder in between. Ball 3, 3-2. Gregory getting ready to get up there. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Michael Martinez. Avila setting up outside. There goes Stewart. Pitch is a strike, and Stewart is out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Well, you know, if they were going to start the runner with a 3-2 count, that you can't take anything close. You got to get the ball put in play, and that's just that's too close to take. If they call it strike 3, then somebody, especially like Stewart, is going to be an easy double play. It was a borderline pitch. I understand that, but borderline pitches get called strikes, especially when there's a Cy Young Award winner on the mound.
7 strikeouts for Scherzer now, and we're in the 3rd inning. Breaking ball for a strike to Polanco. One to Gregory. He struck out to start the ball game. Fouls this one back, and he's in the hole 0-2. Nothing in 2 to Polanco. Stewart caught stealing, but Martinez looked at strike 3. 0-2 pitch. His strikeout number 8 for Scherzer. We're through 3 innings, and something special might be going on for Scherzer today. Back, and the Pirates keep their season alive by beating the Reds in Game 5 of the 1990 NLCS on Root Sports Classics. See this legendary game with exclusive interviews and game stories from Jim Leland, Ray Miller, Jay Bell, Rich Donnelly, Bob Walk, and Doug Drabek himself on Drabek's stymied Cincy 1990 NLCS Game 5. It's tonight at 5:30 on Root Sports. Still a scoreless game here in Detroit. Liriano delivers a strike to Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop. First time up for Suarez. But for the Tigers starter, he has struck out 8 men through 3 innings. Still a B problem in the Pirate dugout. Charlie Morton taking care of business in there. This one down the right field side, foul.
That's what I tell the grandkids all the time. Leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Is that right?
Just don't mess with the bees, and they won't mess with you. It's not like they're spiders.
Yeah. Because you definitely want to attack spiders, don't you?
Yeah, 6 legs good, 8 legs bad. It's just, you got to remember that.
Suarez goes down on strikes, and Liriano has struck out 3 of the last 4.
Stay in the draft. That's all we had to do. Make that late pass for the win. Scherzer. Say his name.
Are you making up a new word, Bob?
Max is doing a great job right now.
You had a combination of Scherzer and Hershiser. You were called him Scherzizer. Bob likes to put 2 words together and be economical.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I like to mix it up.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is you can't really panic. We're not doing anything with the bats right now, but you got to have some patience. It'll come. I really have confidence that we get in that bullpen for the last couple innings. And that was really a hallmark earlier in the year, first half of the season. How many times did we come back and beat somebody's bullpen? 8th and 9th inning. It was happening a couple times a week. And that might be the recipe this afternoon.
Let's hang around. 2 strikes on Rajai Davis.
Rest of the afternoon is Max. No more Scherzer.
Did you catch the word our cab driver made up last night?
No. I know that he and John were having quite the conversation up front.
He asked if we wanted a receipt. And because he said it would be good if you got compensated. 0-2 pitch. And that's in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm surprised you of all people didn't pick up on that.
No, I missed that. I was just kind of anxious to get out of the cab. It was a long trip.
1-2 pitch. And Davis down on strikes. Rajai Davis has struck out twice, and we've got a strikeout match going on here this afternoon.
The defense isn't doing much on either side.
That's 5 strikeouts for Liriano. We take a look today at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Andrew McCutchen in the batting cage as he continues his return to play program on the disabled list for the first time in his career. The avulsion fracture of the 11th rib on the left side seems to be getting better and better. We watched him throw every day and starting to throw from distance and with some authority. Kutch in the dugout taking this one in today, but taking BP and looking good doing it. He is eligible to come off the disabled list on the 19th when the Pirates are home against the Braves. It'll be the first day he'd be eligible to come back. The way he is, I wouldn't expect him to not be in the lineup. Bouncer up the middle. Martinez is there, and he throws him out. 7 in a row set down by Liriano. Still no score at the end of 3. Ariano with a mix of strikeouts and some defense behind him, and tried to do what Edinson Volquez pulled off the other night. The ground ball up the middle, tried to go behind his back, and well, that one didn't work too well for Frankie, but good thing for him Martinez was there.
Well, a lot of times if you miss it, it actually turns out better.
If we could see where Jordy Mercer was, he was right at second base, and it probably would have been an inning-ending double play had that ball gone through. That's
like in this,
the other part of that story.
Instance, it turned into a nice out. One of those infielders is just almost on every play shading up toward the middle, and if it's not hit hard, they're going to get it. How many times do you see a pitcher also stab at a ball and all they do is knock it down and nobody's out?
Travis Snyder fouls back into the crowd. It's off to our right. Strike one to Snyder. I talked to Edinson yesterday. I asked him if he was trying to win a Gold Glove now. He just laughed. Ariano off to a good start through 3 innings. Snyder to left center field. This one's in the gap, and it's going to bounce and go into the bullpen for a double. Travis Snyder continues to swing a hot bat. It's the second extra base hit the Pirates have against Scherzer this afternoon.
Now this is one of the themes in our open about what he has been doing really for a long time now, but especially since McCutchen's been hurt and he's getting the majority of the playing time in the outfield. And it's balls like this. He's not just spraying singles around. He is driving the ball. Gap shots, home runs. How many times have we seen him throw up the Z in the last, say, 5-6 days? He's always out there doing that.
Snyder hadn't done it, so Gabby was saying, hey, you forgot something.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to hear about it.
That might be a kangaroo court thing right there. You don't do it.
Yeah, a lot of Z's in that dugout with all that buzzing.
A lot of B's and Z's. Hopefully more Z's than B's. 1-1 to Josh.
Kutch doesn't like it. Look at him. He's looking out there like, hey, what's the deal?
Forgot something.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll remind him.
But they are right now. During the game while he's in second, they're reminding him.
1-2. Ball down and away. That's what Josh has been struggling with so far. He struck out first time up.
If he scores here, they're going to shun him when he comes into the dugout.
Everybody should run up the tunnel. Not greet him. Anderson fights it off foul. .315, and now, as Robbie reported earlier today, he's in the hunt for the batting title in the National League.
Absolutely.
Troy Tulowitzki at .340 will finish the season on the shelf and well shy of the 502 plate appearances needed. Pitch inside. 2-2 to Harrison. So Harrison and McCutchen right now would be 2-3 behind Justin Morneau of the Rockies. Morneau having a great year. He's hitting .324.
Now, Robbie was talking about how Jay Hay not really watching too much, not paying too much attention to it. But from experience, it's your teammates that kind of take over. If you got somebody that's in the hunt for something, you're the one that's always watching, letting them know what's going on. It's fun for everybody, especially now they have two guys. It'll be a lot of ribbing going on in the clubhouse, in the dugout.
Russell Martin reached a milestone last night with a double in the third inning. It was his 1,000th career base hit.
That's not like bees. He still has the bee swatter on. You know what? Maybe it's just because of where he's sitting. He's sitting up on one of those jugs. So he's open to a foul ball. That's just he didn't have a fence in front of him. He's trying to protect himself, perhaps.
Scherzer's 2-2.
We thought it was keep the bees away. Maybe it's the baseballs. He's gonna. Everybody normally you can like duck real quick, get behind that fence. But where's he's at? He's going to have to use the glove because he's sitting on a water jug. They're still swatting at him.
Again, the 2-2 to Harrison. Count is full, 3-2. Scherzer trying to paint.
Damn, close one.
He was getting him in the first inning, further out than that. Now the payoff. Good at bat for Harrison, hanging in there. Gives himself another chance.
Another one of those long at bats for Max.
Right off the mask.
That can't be much different than getting hit in the head with a pitch. See the way their head gets jarred backwards as that ball squares up on the mask. Nobody even comes and checks on him.
This is the 10th pitch of the at bat. Snyder goes, and this ball is lifted to deep left field. Going back on it is Martinez. He makes the catch at the wall, and Snyder back at second base. Boy, what a play by J.D. Martinez. Terrific at bat by Josh Harrison.
The wind is really blowing pretty hard out, and it just kept moving that ball further and further and further to the fence. Snyder trying to steal third. Couldn't get back in time to tag up to move on that ball to the fence.
And Martinez caught the ball and kissed the fence. He's all right back out there, but Harrison just a foot or two away from giving the Pirates a lead.
Yeah, bad timing, as I said, about the steal attempt of third. If it wasn't going, if Travis wasn't going, he would have been able to at least move to third base on that deep fly ball and probably have the infield in right now.
Max Scherzer. You know, it's Max Scherzer. He's got two different colored eyes. It's a condition called monochromia, where he has a blue eye and a brown eye. And I will take a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis went down looking to start the second inning. He was strikeout victim number 4 for Scherzer. Scherzer's got 8 of them so far. Popped up foul. And beyond the third base dugout into the seats. It's 1-2 to Davis. Snyder with a double to lead off the inning. Max Scherzer, during the month of August in his career, has been very good. He's 15-6 combined in all of his August starts. Davis down on strikes. That's 9 for Scherzer.
How about the pitching duel we are witnessing this afternoon? 95. When Max needs a little extra, he's able to just reach back and get it. Good location. He is able to elevate it a little, just enough, get it up there at the letters. And then 95 is a little tougher to hit.
Starling Marte had a first pitch double in the second inning. It was the first hit of the game. Breaking ball for a strike. Marte at 263 currently. To the right side, and Kinsler will play it on a couple of hops. And the Pirates can't do anything with the leadoff double from Travis Snyder. No score halfway through the fourth.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the fourth inning at Comerica Park with Bob Walk and Robbie and Smikowski. Tim Everett with you. Glad you're watching Pirates baseball no matter where you are. Bucks and Tigers final game of this 4-game 2-city series. Two and two. As the pitch to Miguel Cabrera, lifts it in the air to center field, waiting for it, Marte. And Cabrera's 0 for 2.
Long way out there.
Pirate fans, we want to see how you root for the Bucks. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your Pirate pride. Simply submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag Bucks fan photo for a chance to have it shown during our telecast today. For some good photos. Victor Martinez, one out, bases empty, and Martinez takes one. I know the fan photos last night, because we saw the pigeons, had something to do with birds and parrots. Maybe because of the bees today.
It was definitely a theme.
Yeah, bees today. Anything with black and gold.
Well, that'll be easy. Anything with black and gold.
That really narrowed that down.
You really challenged them, didn't you?
Yep, narrowed it right down. want to make it too hard. To an 0 to Victor Martinez. Two and one. Martinez walked his first time up. There's some black and gold. Fouled off for strike two. There's a bunch of black and gold. We hope we see a lot more in Washington this weekend. Anticipating a lot of Pirate fans making the trip over. Pirates immediately after the game today jet over to D.C. Open up a 3-game set. Tomorrow night, Charlie Morton and Tanner Roark. Two right-handers going at it tomorrow night in game 1. 2-2 pitch. This one in the air to center field. Right there is Marte again. 2 down.
That's where you want him to hit it. In the air to center.
Fans, be sure to download the At the Ballpark app on your mobile phone and check in next time you're at PNC Park. This free app is available to all fans and includes a chance to win seat upgrades, concession vouchers, and more. Download the At the Ballpark app with Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone or Android. Torrey Hunter fouls this pitch off. Hunter grounded out back to Liriano in the first inning. .275 the average for Hunter. Takes the inside. 1-1. One pitch cut on and missed. 2 strikes to Hunter. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Liriano with 5 strikeouts so far today. Shaking off Stewart. Now delivering the 1-2. Struck him out. That's strikeout number 6. Another 1-2-3 inning. We'll head to the 5th in the Motor City, scoreless. The Bucks talk about dealing without their star, Andrew McCutchen, for a while. Josh Harrison is baseball's toughest man to tag, and much more. It's Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network. Today after postgame on Root Sports.
You know, I think my favorite part of watching that replay is right at the end, watching Russell Martin's reaction in the dugout where he's
Yeah.
Leaps up to the railing, starts pounding on it with his hand. Whether he's catching or whatever, he is so active the entire time, in the dugout, whatever. That guy gets into the games.
Pedro Alvarez leads off the fifth. Takes strike one. Pedro struck out swinging in the second inning. Russ figures to be back out there tomorrow night in Washington. Chased one, and that's strike two.
That's the pitch that really had given Pedro fits here in Detroit last night and today. The changeup. Buck Farmer, I believe it was 3 straight changeups. His first at bat last night went down swinging.
Pedro strikes out for the second time. That is strikeout number 10 for Max Scherzer.
Pedro definitely out in front of the slow stuff.
This is the 6th time this season that Scherzer has struck out 10 or more in a game.
It's going to have to be a big adjustment that Pedro has to make here soon if he's going to get some starts in the field and start playing regularly again. He's got to stay on that off-speed pitch better.
Strike one to Jordy Mercer. Now. Scherzer on a bit of a roll today. Liriano as well. 2-1. Pirates had a double from Marte in the second inning, a base hit from Stewart in the third, and a double from Snyder in the fourth. It's been hit off Scherzer. 2-1. Jordy hits it in the air to center field. Rajay Davis backing up.
Well, that is such a death valley out there.
It really is.
Here at Comerica Park at center field. A 420 to straight away, and then both ways it actually gets a little deeper. There's an absolute ton of room out there. If you keep the fly balls to center, there's not too many of them going to sneak over the fence.
Those are moved in.
Yeah, look how much room there was before they put the bullpens out there.
Cavernous. When this stadium was built, they had to change the fences when San Diego was built a few years after. They already moved those in.
The only kind of closer area is in right field, but the wall goes from 8.5 feet to 11.5 feet out in right field.
See that corner. I asked Clint Hurdle today what it's like, referring to Polanco last night, having to play outfield around the corner.
See where it goes up.
Stewart strikes out. That's 11 for Scherzer. No score.
About what do you wear? Or, hey, when do I have to wear this?
I was on that. Yeah, I mean, I got to ask Kutch. He's been to a couple of these.
Here, Tony Watson talk more on all-star fashion with Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen as we take you behind the scenes. The Buccos all-star trip to Minneapolis. Check out the Pirates' red carpet arrival. See the guys mic'd up for batting practice. It's Inside Pirates Baseball Twin City Trio tonight at 5 on Root Sports. Well, no scores. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Ariano has retired 10 straight since walking Martinez in the 1st inning. Walked Victor Martinez. Now J.D. Martinez at the plate. Strike 1 to Martinez. The left fielder made a nice catch on Harrison. 1 ball and 1 strike. Liriano's counterpart, Max Scherzer, now has his 24th career double-digit strikeout game. And J.D. Martinez hits one out. That's the first hit off Liriano, and the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. The no-hitter in the tie game gone with 1 swing of the bat.
Kind of ironic the way that these guys are all locked up and pitching so well. Scherzer with all the strikeouts. So Liriano had a no-no going for the first part of this ball game, and to have it come to an end, have the shutout breaking up, the deadlock broken just with 1 quick swing of the bat. I guess that kind of makes sense. That's the way it would happen. Nobody hurt, just 1 run. Going to have to score 1 of those anyway. Just stay in the draft today.
Castellanos had a big one last night. Gave the Tigers a lead they wouldn't relinquish.
Just log laps right now. We're all right.
Bob with the motor racing theme today. In case you hadn't guessed.
Oh, look around. Where are we at?
Well, this is where they make motors and cars and such.
Got to be the thing. How about the cars on Woodward Avenue? Having a big.
And a base hit for Castellanos.
Having the big dream cruise this weekend. I mean, that's incredible out there what's happening. We were driving through that on the way to the ballpark both days on the bus. Definitely is the Motor City.
Well, Liriano will face Avila now, left-on-left matchup, and with the base runner Castellanos aboard, potential double play. Avila went down swinging in the 2nd inning, one of 2 strikeout victims that inning. Has struck out 6 in the game. Avila chops at it. Not the best bunt attempt right there. That's a strike. Ready to go. A long pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Don't they have a big race here in Michigan soon? Or has that already happened? Coming up
Sunday.
This week.
The Dream Cruise is what's going up and down Woodward. They go all the way from Detroit to Pontiac. And there's just one big, basically parade. Guys cruising up and down, all the old cars, new cars. Just it is some kind of sight. People coming from all over the country just to drive up and down Woodward Avenue. It's a long drive. It's not like you're driving a couple blocks, obviously.
I think it's a while. Drive cars everywhere here in Detroit, don't they? Ball 2 to Alex Avila. We got 2 of them up on the batter's eye. We showed you the truck.
A couple of barrel Chevrolets up there.
J.D. Martinez solo home run, his 16th of the year, has given the Tigers a 1-0 lead. Two ball, 2 strike pitch to Avila. Will wait to throw to first instead. Castellanos, who really last year came up and spent some time after coming up from AAA Toledo, solidified his spot on this roster. On his full 3-2. Mariano had no hit the Tigers through 4, gave up the home run, then the base hit. Trying to find a way to solve the catcher Alex Avila right now. The 3-2 pitch coming.
Yeah, this is very important right now. You're giving up the lead with the home run, but then the next guy got on base, and now a little danger spot here. Oh, nice slider, right?
Strikeout number 7.
Started out under the hands and then broke it into the strike zone. That was a little sharp one. The one he throws fairly hard. They control it better. Has a little quicker break to it. Nice pitch. At a crucial time. Normally that wouldn't be a crucial pitch, but with Max out there doing what he's doing.
And ground ball to Jay Hay. He'll go to second for 1. Martinez the turn, and he throws it away.
We got him.
Stewart there to back up, throw to second base, and Martinez gets a second chance. And it does turn into an inning-ending double play. But the lead is gone. J.D. Martinez home run off Francisco Liriano makes it 1-0 Tigers. Involved with 2 putouts on the same play here and avoids an error, even though he threw the ball away right here. But Stewart backing up, made a solid throw, and he gets 2 putouts on the double play. First one there, second one on the tag out.
And that's why you see those catchers sprinting down at about 10 yards off the line for those situations. That's their job. Be in position to get the rebound and throw somebody out. Good job by Stewart.
Martinez is 0 for 1. He struck out looking in the 3rd. with Stewart on base and running. Turned into a strike him out, throw him out double play.
It's got to feel good for the catcher to have that opportunity and get that job done. Think of all the times that they run down there for no reason.
Martinez runs up, takes a strike.
Kind of a little bit of a payoff that all year they're running down, running down, running down. All those ground balls, nothing ever happens. This time it did. Stewart was Johnny on the spot, picked it up, fired him out.
Low strike right by the knees of Martinez. That's the one he took for strike 3 in the 3rd.
Yeah, you look at the scoreboard and think about how these two pitchers are throwing, the way this game's going. That one play right there could turn out to be huge. We might be talking about that again in the 9th inning.
2-2 to Martinez, switch hitting infielder, utility player. At second base today. 2-2 pitch from Scherzer. Swung on and a roller to the right side. Cabrera will toss to Scherzer, cover. Against Scherzer had to hurry. There was nearly a collision at first base with Martinez bearing down on him.
They've been matching each other pretty well, haven't they?
Yes, sir.
Low number of hits, and both guys are having an easy time with it when it comes to strikeouts. 18 strikeouts in this game already, and we're just a little bit past halfway.
Kind of what we expected today with a pair of aces going. It's looking to get a run for Liriano, get this game tied up again. At least. Gregory Polanco has struck out twice. Left-handers have been hitting Scherzer better than the right-handers this year. Left-handed hitters at 246, the right-handers 226. Over the course of his career, left-handers have hit him at a 259 clip overall. On the left side, foul.
Well, he's at 85 pitches right now, so you figure finish this inning, maybe the 7th, and it'll definitely be a shot at the bullpen for the last 2 innings. This next pitch, number 86.
Lying tight to Polanco.
You would think he would be well over 90 by the time he gets out of this inning, and then well over 100 if he gets to the 7th. He's had some long at bats this afternoon. Guys have gone deep into some counts.
Kingsley plays the hawk and throws out Polanco. Gregory's 0 for 3, and there are 2 men out in the Pirates' half of the 6th inning. Brings up Travis Snyder, who is 1 for 2. He doubled in the 4th to lead off the inning, but the Pirates couldn't get him over. Snyder with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs in this series alone. 3 of his 10 on the season have come against Detroit. 2 in 1 game. Two balls and no strikes to Snyder. Guessing Snyder took a peek at the Seahawks preseason game that went on against Denver recently. He's a huge Seattle Seahawks fan.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Judging from the number of points they put up in the Super Bowl, I'd say yeah. Comes the 2-1 to Snyder from Max Scherzer. Breaking ball.
He really took a lot off that. This pitch going to come in there just 76 miles an hour. A little drop at the end. Oh.
Two ball, two strike pitch. Snyder asked for and got time. Two outs, bases empty, 1-0 Tiger lead. Pirates with 3 hits, Tigers with 2. One of them a home run. Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 12. It's a dirty dozen for Scherzer. In the Central, Pirates a game and a half in back of the Brewers. Cardinals half game in back of the Pirates. And the Reds 5.5 back. Cubs have shaved a couple of games off by taking 2 of 3 from Milwaukee. They're now 13 back. So we start the bottom of the 6th inning. Francisco Liriano against the top of the Tigers order, Rajai Davis. He has struck him out twice already today. Davis will take that pitch for ball 2, 2-0. Three balls and no strikes.
I would have liked to see Francisco get one of those 2 pitches down and away. Looked pretty close.
3-1 to Rajai Davis.
Has been getting a lot of those this afternoon.
He's not been getting them.
So the 2 and the 3 down the corner. I mean, they're balls, but Scherzer's been throwing the same pitches, and he's been getting strike calls.
Most of the sellout crowd grumbling about this call. Right at the very bottom of the strike zone. He's caught enough of it. Count is full, 3-2. Down to third, diving attempt by Harrison. It's past him and bouncing around into the corner. Davis rounding second. He's going to stop there. A leadoff double for Rajai Davis.
Boy, that ball really took a crazy hop. That kind of went through the stands. A nice job by Snyder of figuring all that out and getting to the ball in time to keep Davis just a double instead of a triple. Watch how this ball bounces through the stands right there. See, it went over the corner. Everybody ducked. It didn't hit anybody. The umpire makes the safe sign, saying that it's still in play.
Went off the top, the concrete part of the wall and foul ground. Didn't touch anything.
If Snyder would have taken a different angle, because the ball looked like it was going into the stands or at least hitting that fence, he wouldn't have been down in the corner to get it that fast, and it would have been 3 bases. Really good read by Travis as to where that ball was going, and that could not have been easy to do that, because it looked like it was going to hit that fence for sure, and then when it hit the fence, it looked like it was going to go into the stands.
Ian Kinsler, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Reached on an error and grounded to second. Takes low, 2-0. Rajay Davis, double number 22. He's got his up and mid on too, Bob.
Yeah, I think you need to wear the pads on the back of the hand. You got to wear the up mitts when you run.
Larry Allen 3-0.
Now watch where this ball goes. Look, it goes into the crowd right over their head. That ball is a row into the crowd, and it goes over. Everybody ducks. It gets out of the way, and it comes back out, and it's in play. If Travis would have taken a different route, went right to where the ball boy is, because the ball hit the fence, he would have been able to be in the corner to get it that quick.
4-pitch walk to Kinsler.
A little bit of a danger time now. You want to stay out of any kind of a big inning, because that could be fatal at this point. If basically if they put up a crooked number at this stage of the ball game, you're falling out of the draft. You've got to stay close.
Ray Searage will head out for a visit. 82 pitches now for Liriano.
Scherzer's pitch count is up into the 90s now, so he's not going to be out there, for much longer. They'll let him get up into the hundreds, but probably one more inning, you would think. Stay close until you can get into that bullpen. If Davis figures out a way to score, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but that's it. Don't let anybody else in. That's easier said than done with 2 guys on and one of baseball's best hitters ever at the plate, but that's what it is, and that's what you're going to have to deal with right now.
Miguel Cabrera 0 for 2. Grounded out to Jordy Mercer at shortstop in the first, and he flied to Starling Marte at center in the 4th inning. Big point in the ball game right now. Nice sensor. Cabrera has grounded into 16 double plays, by the way. Pitch outside for a ball.
Yeah, that'd be right what the doctor ordered right now, wouldn't it?
He, along with Torrey Hunter, lead the club in grounding into double plays.
Well, we saw earlier he's not real fast getting down that first baseline at all. So if he does hit a ground ball to anybody, you got a great opportunity at 2.
Pickoff attempt. That's into center field. Rajay Davis held at third and into second safely as Kinsler. Liriano with an errant throw.
Boy, he had no business throwing this ball. It's not even remotely going to be close. There's no reason to even make that throw.
That is his second error of the game. So 2 errors on Liriano. Now second and third, first base open.
Boy, you can't believe how much that hurt right there. You're wanting that double play ball. You got a great candidate up there if you could induce any kind of a ground ball. And now look at the change. Now that great hitter is up there, and it fields in.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo slowing it down for us.
You can see how easily he's going to get back standing up. You could have turned, but there was no reason to throw the ball.
1-2. One of the best RBI men in the game at the plate. Cabrera with 86 runs batted in.
Well, now you got to see if you can figure out how to strike him out. You got 2 strikes on him.
Davis at third, Kinsler at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Brandon Compton now starting to warm for the Pirates. Orioles team down 1-0 at this point, but a sticky situation with nobody out of the bottom of the 6th. Ground ball to third. Short hop by Jay. Looks the runner back, goes on to first. 1 out.
Yeah, just as good as a strikeout, obviously. Cabrera could not get the ball put in the air. Really an odd looking swing. Had him fooled. Jay will look, make sure that nobody's doing anything.
Let the runner to freeze. So now they will walk Victor Martinez.
They'll try to set up another double play opportunity, and with Hunter coming out, it's certainly one of those. Well, how about that if they get out of this, or the double play now of Hunter? I mean, second, third, Cabrera up. Let's keep our fingers crossed that Hunter can hit a ground ball to someone.
Here is ball 4. So the intentional walk puts Victor Martinez at first base. Bases loaded for the Tigers for the first time in the game. Now Torrey Hunter. Hunter's done well in these interleague games. He has driven in an awful lot of runs. But again, he and Cabrera lead the team, grounding into 16 double plays. This afternoon, Hunter has grounded out back to Liriano and struck out. Swing and a miss. Now Detroit, they're talking about Miguel Cabrera, saying that this core muscle surgery he had in the offseason has slowed him down some in terms of the power game. Still though, 17 home runs, 86 RBIs. Hunter fouls it down the right side and out of play, and that is strike 2. Yeah, anybody got a bag of ice? Proud of that catch out there. 0-2 pitch. Struck him out. Francisco Liriano retires Torrey Hunter, and there are now 2 men out.
Francisco really going to work on him here with some breaking balls. And the first one, he's just going to try and drop in to get ahead for a strike. Does that with the swing and miss. Control was the most important part of that. Then he came fast, but now watch the velocity on this breaking ball. He gets the chase on, picked it up from 84 to 87, so you get that little extra hard break, and he got the swing and the miss at a pitch out of the strike zone down. Great job.
J.D. Martinez takes ball one. He got the first hit off of Liriano in the game in the fifth. It was a solo homer. He's responsible for the run on the board. 1-0 Detroit. Bases loaded, 2 down here in the sixth. Liriano's pitch to J.D. Martinez. Outside, 2-0. 280 with runners in scoring position this year for Martinez. Under a 2-0 count. He's got to be looking for something good here, as Liriano's got to come with a strike. He did.
No, I'm not sure he did.
Well,
I think he
came with a ball that turned into a strike.
He got an impatient hitter up there that couldn't wait for a better pitch on a 2-0 count. That's not what you want to swing at on 2-0.
Three and one.
If he could have had some patience, he would have just got himself an RBI. That would have been ball 4. It's so tough at times for hitters up there when they have runners in scoring position. Some of them, they just change. They get so anxious they want to knock those runs in so badly. You can use that against them, and they'll swing at pitches that they shouldn't be.
He is walked in the run. It's 2-0 Detroit.
And it doesn't matter. He ended up missing with 5 straight pitches.
99 pitches for Liriano. The 99th walks in a run.
Well, after the error that really put himself in trouble, that throwing error at second base, he did a phenomenal job of pitching the next 2 hitters, getting the big boys out, but just couldn't come up with a strike when he really needed to. And it's cost him another run.
Nick Castellanos with 2 outs and the base is still full. Swing and a miss.
Against. I mean, there's the example. Bases are full, and the first pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. Castellanos swings right through it. There's some guys, they can't show patience when there's runners in scoring position. They'll be okay with the bases loaded, but they're swinging the bats with ducks on the pond. Pigeons on the field, whatever you want. See?
Again.
And now he's stuck. Now he's 0-2. Now he has to protect. He can't show any patience. He has to expand his strike zone. He doesn't want to strike out looking. So now he's put himself in a bad spot. And this is the kind of guy. This is what Liriano really feeds off of, hitters that are over anxious and will swing the bat.
0-2. Got him through 3 balls.
Three breaking balls in the dirt. And he 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Strikeout number 9 for Liriano. He gives up another. It's 2-0 Tigers. Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie and Smikowski with us as well. Time to take a look at our AT&T fan photo of the game. Nathan's Hot Dog Coney Island. They're raising the Jolly Roger. Thanks to Jenna for that photo there. You can submit your photos at #BucksFanPhoto for a chance to have us show it during a telecast. 2-0 Tigers, top of the 7th. Max Scherzer has been dealing today. 12 strikeouts for Scherzer. You got Harrison once in the first inning. Won't get him here as he pops up. Torrey Hunter in right field. Camping under it, will make the catch.
Now that's what we really don't want is one pitch, one out. Trying to get Scherzer out of here. You need a longer inning. You need to get a couple of at bats to go deep in the count. So at least if you don't score any runs off of him right here, you maybe can finish him off for the game pitch count wise. But one pitch, one out, that's not going to help.
93 pitches. Scherzer to face Ike Davis. Davis has bookend strikeouts, one swinging, one looking. Takes ball one.
He was going to bunt. Got to see if he could push that ball down the third base line and get the tying run to the plate. One out, not a bad idea.
Two balls, no strikes to Davis.
No, I definitely is the type of hitter that likes to see a lot of pitches. He'll be very patient at times. I think he probably will be as patient of a hitter as anybody we have. The result now, 3-0.
Davis walks on 4 pitches.
4-0.
And this will bring the tying run to the plate now. 1 out. Top half of the 7th inning. College students receive up to $10 off select Pirates tickets. Bring your friends to cheer on the Bucks for the rest of the season. Go to pirates.com/student to see all the eligible game dates. I'm sure you take advantage of that. Take advantage of the remaining home schedule for the Pirates. After the weekend, it's the Atlanta Braves series. Should be a big one. We've been talking a lot about it. In anticipation of a possible wild card showdown. Pirates.com to get your tickets. Marte will take a strike. Marte with a double and a ground ball out to second. He is the only hitter in the Pirates lineup not to strike out at least once. Davis on at first, the stretch by Scherzer. Marte a swing and a miss, nothing in 2. This pitch will be the 100th. Oh, 2 pitch. On pause by Scherzer. Marte gets time.
That was happening a lot early in the game. Seemed like Scherzer had a hard time coming to a decision about what he wanted to throw. Stepping out really lately.
Ball and 2 strikes to Marte. Scherzer with 100. He averages 109 per start. Today is 25th start. Cy Young winner in the American League. He's 15th on the Tigers all-time strikeout list and climbing.
high as 118. That's the most he's thrown this year. That was back in the middle of July.
In the dirt, Marte holds up. Balls and 2 strikes to Starling. Put a ball in play somewhere. Get Ike around. Last time out, Max Scherzer went 8 innings against the Blue Jays. Outing before that, he went 7 against the Yankees. Ended up with a loss and a no decision in close ball games. Stays even.
Maintaining his velocity pretty well. Over 100 pitches, still throwing the fastball at 95 when he wants to.
Alex Avila signs out to Scherzer. 2-2 to Starling Marte with Davis at first base. 1 out.
Really struggling with that curveball, the control with Marte up there. With the 3 of them way outside.
He is testing his catcher Alex Avila, that's for sure. And Avila had to slide a long way to his right to make that block.
And Max, another one of those 0-2, 3-2 at bats. He likes those.
Full count. And the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's number 13. That's the reason you don't send Davis, because of the way that Scherzer's been pitching. You risk another strike him out, throw him out.
Dropped down a little bit that time. It looked like his arm angle flattened out that breaking ball.
Now Marte joins the exclusive club. Scherzer has struck out everybody at least once today. I like Davis twice. And got Pedro Alvarez twice. Both times swinging.
Changeups. Been really throwing a ton of changeups to him. That's what they did in yesterday's game. His base hit came on a fastball. They tried to something a little different, thinking that, okay, well, he'll be looking for a change this time, and throwing a fastball, and he whacked that one back up to the middle.
Tying run at the plate, top of the 7th. 2-0 Detroit. There's a change. And 1. Take 10 miles an hour off of that. It makes a big difference. Plus that ball tails down and away to the left-handed hitters. 94, the fastball taken.
That was only about 6 inches outside. So, I mean, this is what I was talking about. I mean, look where that pitch is.
Wow.
You're giving him that pitch, it's going to make it tough to hit.
Yeah, how do you give that guy a strike on that pitch? That's amazing. And now Pedro's 1-2. Avila setting up outside. Pitch comes inside, and Alvarez hits it to right field. Castellanos is there and throws him out. So the shift works for Detroit. 13 strikeouts for Scherzer. Stretch time in Detroit.
Cast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Make sure you download MLB at Bat. It's the #1 app for live Pirates baseball. Text at Bat to 31826. MLB at Bat. So the Pirates trailing 2-0 to Max Scherzer. Scherzer has struck out 13. 2 off his career high, also set against the Pirates. Brandon Compton now on the pitch for Liriano. That'll be part of a double switch as Nix has moved to third base. Mercer is out. And Harrison moves to shortstop. The lineup squared away here. But, Nix is in. Not sure why Mercer is out unless it is a double switch. Pitch is inside to Avila.
Take a look at Compton's numbers now. You're going to see 10 games. All of those are starts, but it looks now like his future right now, at least for the short term, is going to be coming in and throwing out of the bullpen with the Pirates. He really has had some dominating games as a starter. Really did some good work, but there's just no spot for him. And with Cole coming back to get his arm into the games, going to use him out of the bullpen.
I just realized what I said.
Double switch?
Yeah. This is an American League game.
Have it.
Fortunately, it's the last one this season.
Have it.
It is. I'm thinking, why did Mercer come out? But nope, just Nixon as a straight change. And Compton doesn't have to worry about where he's hitting in the lineup.
I think this will be the first inning that Mercer has missed since Barmas got hurt.
Since June 20th. Yep. Avila to dead center. Now drifting over toward left field a little bit is Marte for out #1.
A lot of fly balls go to die out there. That is a deep fence a long ways away. Got a little bit reminiscent of old Tiger Stadium, which was incredibly deep to dead center field. Long ways out there.
Pitch outside. Ball 1 to Suarez. Suarez today struck out. Hit into a fielder's choice that resulted in a force out at second base, and then on the overthrow by Martinez, he went to second. Stewart was there to back up. Stewart made a good throw, and Martinez tagged him. And because he was out at second base, Martinez avoided an error. Two balls and 1 strike. Number 9 hitter Suarez. Air to right field. Polanco there. 2 down. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll ban the DH. That way, if I say double switch, I'm right.
Just because of that, you've come on board.
Oh, no, I've been on board.
Hey, you got to have a reason. I like that.
I've been on board. And I don't like that. You even hear conversation, and I hate to even say it, but people like to think that sometime in the future it's coming to the National League. I hope not, ever.
Well, the other day when we had Bud Selig on, I can't remember if we asked him on or off the air, but he kind of threw cold water on it. He said, no, he likes the National League to be left alone. He likes it the way it is. So I was glad to hear that.
Well, speaking of Bud Selig, we should find out who the next commissioner will be shortly. As there is a soft line drive picked out of the air by Martinez. And the Tigers are retired in order in the bottom of the 7th. On to the 8th. 2-0 Detroit. Pregame 6:30 here on Root Sports. Charlie Morton against Tanner Roark. Then Jeff Locke goes against Gio Gonzalez. Saturday night. Sunday, it's an evening game. Pregame beginning at 4:30. 5:05 first pitch. Edinson Volquez against former Tiger Doug Fister. That's the Nissan road ahead. We start the 8th inning.
Max is back.
Scherzer's out. And he will face Jason Nix. Came in as part of a straight change. He's thinking that Max is great.
He has been this afternoon. But he's about to make pitch number 109. And there's his average.
And Nix first ball swinging, pops up to center field. Rajay Davis makes the catch. One out for the Pirates. Nix 0 for 1. Right at his average. 74 strikes. Scherzer right now in line for his 14th win. The Tigers deep in the playoffs in the American League. It's going to be starting pitching. It certainly helps them there. They definitely have the bats, but get David Price now on the staff. Justin Verlander figures to miss just one start. Doesn't look like he's going on the disabled list.
Yeah, Verlander might not be able to pitch in the playoffs. He's our 5th best starter. I mean, he'd put him in the bullpen, right?
Yeah, Neil Walker with a helmet on. Looks like Neil's available. He was not available yesterday. Looks like Neil's ready to pinch hit, perhaps. Now on strikes goes Stewart. 14 strikeouts for Max Scherzer. He is one off of his career high that he set against the Pirates during the 2012 season.
Got that hook where he wanted it that time. That's that pitch that he's been bouncing way outside several times this afternoon. Good command of it for that strike 3 pitch, though. It's all about where you're throwing it.
Martinez bounces it up the right side. Foul. Strike 1. Martinez is 0 for 2 today. Last 3 outings against the Pirates. 7 strikeouts in June of 2012. 15 in May of 2012. 7 back in 2011. I think that one in 2011. Wasn't that when he was with the Diamondbacks?
I wouldn't know.
No, that was with the Tigers. It was with the Tigers. 2009, I believe. Remember, that's the first time we saw him, though. It was with Arizona. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, base is empty. Another 1-2. That's in the dirt.
Let's go into those curveballs now. Wants another strikeout. Doesn't want just an out. He wants a strikeout. That's one of the reasons why his pitch count gets elevated, is he likes the K.
Martinez held up.
Another 0-2, 3-2. 5 times this afternoon now. Think how many pitches that adds up to the course of the afternoon. It's got to cost him an inning every start, just by how deep he goes in the counts after he goes 0-2.
This goes to the backstop. That's a season high 118 pitches. Heading down to first base is Martinez.
He's only finished 1 game in his entire career, and that's in the majority of it obviously in the National League, where he doesn't ever have to worry about being pinch hit for.
That changes the game quite a bit, the American League style of it. So now the tying run at the plate. Polanco up. Gregory's 0 for 3. Struck out twice, grounded out. Polanco could be a game changer.
Somebody's been throwing in the pen this entire innings. Like could be his last hitter regardless.
Java Chamberlain warming up. Polanco, a bouncer foul.
Java pitched the 8th in last night's game.
Yeah, and his Beard pitched the 9th. Actually, it was Joe Nathan. No balls and 1 strike to Gregory Polanco. Nathan got some hot water after the game last night. Pitch down low. He had walked 2 men back to back, was hearing it from the fans. The Tigers have been frustrated. After the final out, when the Tigers won, Nathan had made a gesture to the crowd, an appropriate one, and has gone out of his way to apologize for that. One ball, 1 strike to Polanco. And a ground ball right side. Kinsler from the outfield throws him out. Everybody's standing for Max Scherzer. 14 strikeouts for the Tigers right-hander. Sterling, a masterpiece here today. Just 3 hits. Hadn't given up a run. He's all done now through 8 innings. And 1 off of his career high of 14 strikeouts. 121 pitches. That's a season high for Scherzer.
I really thought that pitch count wise we could have got him out of there after 7 innings instead of 8. But we have, as I said earlier, we have stayed in the draft. We're not that far behind. But we've left it to the last lap. We got 1 inning left now to try to do something against their bullpen. And the more important thing in front of us right this moment is that we've got to stay where we're at. Because now the Tigers have 1 more shot at putting some insurance runs on the board. But Max, really we got the game I think we expected with the 2 starters. Knew it was going to be a low-scoring game, pitching duel, and that's what it ended up being.
Strike 1 to Ian Kinsler.
And I thought it would be 2-1, 3-2. Let's hope it's 3-2.
Scherzer did his part today for Detroit. Kinsler takes a strike on the inside corner. It's 0-2. He walked in the 6th inning. Reached on an error back in the 1st and grounded out the 2nd in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, one thing Compton really I think proved to everyone as a starter is most of the time, for the most part, he's going to throw strikes, and I think that's going to serve him well coming out of the bullpen. You like to be able to depend on a reliever to come in and throw the ball over the plate, if nothing else. And you don't want him coming in and walking a bunch of people. And I think with Compton, you're going to have that confidence when you call his name that he'll give you strikes when he comes out of that bullpen.
Compton recalled Tuesday from Indianapolis. Had 11 starts there in 12 games. Went 5-4. Made his last appearance Sunday. Pitched an inning of scoreless relief. Bouncing ball down to 3rd. Nick straightens up, throws on to 1st to retire Kinsler. And there is 1 out for Detroit in the 8th inning. Coca-Cola Fan Pack is available every Sunday home game starting at just $35 in advance. Receive a lower outfield box ticket, a fountain drink, a hot dog, and a soft pretzel. Get your tickets at PNC Park ticket windows or visit pirates.com/fanpack. You gotta have one. So the Tigers now with 1 out. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera's 0 for 3. Had 2 men on in the 6th inning. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, and he grounded out to 3rd. Was unable to get the runners to move up. It's another one in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, that out was really huge. A hitter like Cabrera could have easily put this game out of touch. Liriano coaxed him into that little tapper down the 3rd that caused no damage at all.
Tigers back-to-back champs in the Central. This one into the corner, and Cabrera will jog to second base. A little jog in the park for him for a double. That's 2 doubles for the Tigers today. 246 as a team on the year.
Get that ball inside, but it was down enough that he could drop the head of the back of the ball. The ball was elevated a little bit. He might have been able to get in on his hands a little. Cabrera's not going to get a lot of triples. He's just satisfied with getting 2. They probably don't want him doing anything crazy out on the bases. They want him just to kind of take things easy out there and make sure you're healthy when it comes time to swing the bat.
They will walk the designated hitter Victor Martinez with first base open. Second time Martinez will be intentionally walked. It'll be the 3rd time he has had a free pass today. He walked back in the 1st inning. Also flying to center, so he's 0 for 1. Torrey Hunter up next. Again, they'll take their chances with a guy who has hit into a lot of double plays. Down the first goes Victor Martinez. First and second, one out, so Clint wants to face Hunter instead.
Well, I think this makes a whole lot of sense. You have to do this with Compton out there on the mound. I think the matchup with Hunter is pretty good. Maybe we can get that double play that we talked about earlier. He's a great candidate for that.
Foul tip by Hunter. Strike one.
He's not going to get double play up there. He'll just get a strikeout. As long as he keeps swinging at him.
Nothing one to Torrey. Struck out twice. And bounced back to the pitcher Liriano in the first inning. Ball and one strike. Apparently the Tigers felt comfortable in dealing Austin Jackson with the depth they feel they have in the outfield here. Jackson going to Seattle. This one's popped up, and this will be an infield fly. He is automatically out. So 2 out. Infield fly rule invoked for Torrey Hunter. First and second, and less than 2 outs. Or if the bases are loaded in less than 2 outs, that's when the infield fly is in effect. So 2 down, and now the batter will be J.D. Martinez. Solo home run for Martinez in the 5th inning. Broke up the no-hitter and got the Tigers on the board. Strike one. Pirates in the 9th will have Snyder, Harrison, and Davis. 2, 3, and 4. We'll see if Walker will hit. He did have a helmet on and a bat in his hands last half inning. Phil Coke, the lefty, now working alongside of the closer Joe Nathan. Stewart and Compton trying to figure things out for Martinez.
I think it probably depends on who's going to pitch on what happens maybe with this at bat. We have 2 lefties scheduled for the Pirates.
One and one to J.D. Martinez. Cabrera at second base. Martinez, Victor at first. And a ground ball to the right side. Long run for Michael Martinez. He throws it away. And coming in to score is Miguel Cabrera. 3-0 Detroit.
Well, you see this sometimes. Somebody going full speed and they have to make that spin. And they'll just kind of drag the ball with them and throw it to their left, and that's exactly what he did. And he's trying to get the runner, so he's going to have to put something on it. So he throws it hard, and it's no time then for Ike to really make a big stretch and go after it. If the throw would have been coming from further away, that gives the first baseman, Ike Davis in this case, time to stretch sideways and reach out and try to make that play. But I think there wasn't time for that because the throw had good velocity on it and it wasn't coming from a very long distance.
A base hit for J.D. Martinez and the throwing error by Michael Martinez. allowing the runners to move up, so no RBI for J.D. Martinez. Don Kelly is out to pinch run for him. Nick Castellanos, 1 ball, no strikes. Tried to go in on him and missed. 2-0.
Remember, Castellanos last at bat, and 3 curveballs in a row with the bases loaded. All of them in the dirt. All of them swung and missed. And this time, a couple of guys on base. A little different story, although it's not breaking balls down. They're balls that are inside on his hands.
2-1 to Castellanos.
A right-hander throwing instead of a lefty. That's why every situation is different. There's so many variables in the game that affect the outcome of any one at bat and affect the way a hitter, for instance, is approaching that at bat.
Well, Nathan would still come in as if the score stays where it is. Strike to Castellanos, 2-2. Coke warming up in case the Tigers get some more. It's not a save situation. Or to pitch against the lefties. 2-2 pitch. That's to center field. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And the Tigers have opened it up in the 8th inning against Brandon Compton.
I think we just fell out of the draft with a lap left.
5-0 Tigers. Two-run base hit for Castellanos.
Put that fastball up about letter high, and Castellanos this time not trying to do too much. He's just going for the base hit. Just pushes this ball right back up the middle. Stays inside of it. Good swing on it and gets the 2 RBIs that may have put us away.
So Ezequiel Carrera will pinch run. And the batter is Alex Avila. Strike call. So Tigers now 3 outs away from wrapping up win number 14 for Max Scherzer. Scherzer was the winning pitcher in the All-Star game, by the way. First Tiger to get a win in the Midsummer Classic since Jim Bunning, 1957. Carrera safe. Scherzer with a gem today. Liriano at times was matching a pitch out. Throw down to second base. Too high. And Nix put the tag on Carrera, but he was able to get his foot back on the bag. Pirates had it called, but the high throw. And Carrera with a stolen base.
Well, earlier in this series, the first couple of games, it was the Tigers with the sloppy defense. And this afternoon, it has been the Pirates that have not been able to get outs when they were there and have given away extra bases.
Oh man, it's second and 2 outs. Avila swinging a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pirates won the first 2 games of this series. Tigers would win last night with runs in the later innings, 1 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th to put it away and break a 4-4 tie. Pirates had a 4-1 lead at one point last night. And Avila goes down on strikes. But 3 runs come in and will go to the ninth. 5-0 Detroit. Taking back Sunday, appearing soon at Stage AE. Great shots from the Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. And as part of the story today in the late innings, Michael Martinez throwing error kind of opened the door for the Tigers. And now that it is not a save situation anymore, Nathan won't pitch and Phil Koch will.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. It depends on what happens, with the hitters, is who's going to come in. Well, they put the runs up, so now it's going to be Koch, and his first hitter is going to be a lefty, and then Ike Davis is scheduled to come up after Jay, but there'll probably be a pinch hitter for him.
Rajay Davis moves from center field to left field. Ezekiel Carrera is in center now. And at third base for the Tigers, Pittsburgh's own Don Kelly.
Going with their best defense.
Phil Koch, the lefty, pitching against Travis Snyder. Left on left matchup. Ball and no strikes. These two met in the first game of this series late in the ball game, and Snyder hit a home run at PNC Park against him. It's a different style rally cap today. It's like an inside out and backwards rally cap. Ball down and away. 2 balls and a strike.
It have to be a big rally. We need 6.
Koch's 2-1. Count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Snyder. Need some base runners. Max Scherzer stymied the Pirates for 8 innings. Walked 2, gave up 3 hits, 2 of them doubles. Did not allow a run and struck out 14. 2. How good was Max Scherzer today?
Good.
For a while, Francisco Liriano had a no-hitter through 4 until J.D. Martinez took him deep. First batter in the 5th inning.
Oh. Throwing hard. That's the best fastball anybody's thrown all day, I believe. 96 miles an hour. And even with a 5-run lead, he's having the deep count. It's a Tiger pitching strategy, maybe.
Could be. 3-2. Payoff pitch to Snyder. Travis fouls this one straight back. I wonder why American League games are so long. They throw a lot of pitches. Not that they don't in some National League games, but game times in the American League are longer than those in the National League by average. Curveball up and in. The Bucks have a base runner.
You got to be kidding me. A 3-2 curveball with a 5-run lead to lead off the 9th inning. What is going on? For ball 4.
Brad Ausmus is wondering the same thing.
That is amazing. Amazing. It's like he had the tying run at second. Like a tying run at second right there. And, oh, if I give up a hit, it's going to be the ball game. Can't give in here. I got to throw a hook.
Yeah, Gene Lamont phoning a friend, and now Java Chamberlain up for the 2nd time. Jay Hay to face Phil Cope. Ground ball left side. Don Kelly to Kinsler. Safe at first is Harrison. 1 out. Harrison aboard on the fielder's choice. We'll see a pinch hitter for Ike Davis. Gabby Sanchez, right-handed bat coming up against the lefty Phil Coke.
They got to at least put an earned run on Coke for that 3-2 breaking ball. And we're talking about a guy that can throw 96 miles an hour too. It's not like he's got no fastball to deal with. Come on, Gabby. Put one down the line. Now Jay Hay is, even though, well, no, never mind. I was about to say something stupid as usual. Put that one back in. I caught it before it got out.
Well, I want to know. I want to hear it.
No, you don't. It was right along the lines with a double switch.
Was it? Okay.
I'll go ahead and tell you what it was. It's pretty funny after this pitch.
And the 1-0 to Sanchez. Gabby foul tips it into the mid of Avila for a strike.
I was going to say, even though it was Snyder, it was when they got walked, that Jay Hay took his spot because of the fielder's choice. So now Jay Hay still belongs to Coke. Well, yeah, Coke's still pitching.
Yeah, of course he
dummy.
Is. Yeah. All right, 1-1 today.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty bad. I know what it was. Yeah, Jay Hay is Coke's run.
Outside the Gabby. Coke may not be the choice for Brad Ausmus if he walks Sanchez here. He may get him an early hook if he puts Sanchez aboard. And Gabby hammers it. Deep left field. Way back. And it's gone. A home run for Gabby Sanchez. And the Bucks on the board. It's 5-2.
Baseball gods were watching when he threw that 3-2 curveball. Said, okay, that's the one you want to play it. By the way, both those runs are Coke.
Well, I was going to ask you to be sure.
Yeah, just if you scoring at home.
And here comes Osmus. He's going to lift Cope.
Three-two curveball, 5-0. Starting the inning.
Gabby Sanchez with the 6th pinch hit home run for the Buccos this season. And the Pirates now with a pulse. 1 out. Bases empty, and Marte coming up. Alvarez behind him. They're going to face a new pitcher, Jabba Chamberlain, making his way from the bullpen out to the mound. On the board, 5-2 as he chases Phil Koch from the game. Koch facing 3 hitters. Walked Snyder. Harrison hit into a fielder's choice. And then a 2-run home run for Sanchez. And here is Jabba Chamberlain, who might do Civil War reenactments on the weekends.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. He could easily be in the next Gettysburg movie, especially with that last name.
Could picture him in one of those Union uniforms, couldn't you?
Yep.
So now Starling Marte coming up. Marte 1 for 3, doubled in the second. And Nathan back up. This is a save situation, by the way, and with Nathan warming, you'd figure he's going to get into this ball game. Second home run the Pirates have hit off of Phil Koch in this series. Snyder got him back in game 1. Pitch to Marte. Swing and a miss. Good for Gabby. He got a hold of it. Marte to right field. That ball slicing, and Hunter dives and makes a sensational catch. Wow.
Great play. He's a little long in the tooth, but he can still get it done out there. A lot of gold gloves. Boy, I wish we could have stayed in the draft, huh?
Well, tip of the cap to Hunter. Well, now Pedro Alvarez. Last hope for the Pirates today to keep it alive. 3-run lead for Detroit. Down low, ball 1. This shot from the Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl.
Great concentration and the ability to keep it in the glove as he's hitting the ground.
Pedro to right. Kinsler throws him out, and the ball game is over. The Pirates and Tigers split this 4-game series, 2 games apiece. And after 48 games all time, this series is tied at 24-24.
Well, the story of this game really was the 2 starting pitchers. I mean, they really locked up early on. It was a great thing to watch, but we just couldn't stay close enough to the Tigers to take advantage of their bullpen. They were able to pull away there at the end, and they had some breathing room.